some people are now accusing both Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk of ducking Joseph Parker because they're fighting each other rather than either one of them fighting him. Now look, I understand that Parker is on a good run of form. I understand that people love him. I understand that people think he should get a world title shot, that it's overdue. But to claim that not only Dubois, but even Usyk is ducking him, this is just getting ridiculous now. Seriously. First of all, with Dubois, people are acting like Joseph Parker was somehow imposed upon Daniel Dubois and Daniel Dubois found a way out of it. Folks, that's not the case at all. Dubois chose Parker as a voluntary defense. He could have picked anybody to fight. He was voluntarily giving Parker an opportunity. If Parker was that scary to him, why did he pick him in the first place? Look at the guys who Daniel Dubois has already beaten. Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, who beat somebody that Parker beat in Zhilei Zhang. Anthony Joshua, who actually beat Joseph Parker himself. As much as Joseph Parker's on a good run, guess what, folks? Dubois' run is even better. And again, he picked Joseph Parker. Parker wasn't imposed upon him. Parker was never Dubois' mandatory. Now, as for the reason for Dubois pulling out of the fight on fight week, people have come up with all sorts of theories. Nobody wants to accept the idea that he was actually ill, despite the fact that at least one other fighter was ill on fight week and pulled out. Now, there's somebody who is a regular in the chat room on my live streams called Matt. Shout out to him. He says that he knows Daniel Dubois, and he claims that Dubois is indeed on the spectrum, as many of us have speculated about. And any of you who know anything about people with spectrum disorder will know that they have a lot of behavior that is very different to neurotypical people, behavior that we would find inexplicable, puzzling. We don't understand why they would do certain things, and they have like autistic shutdowns and so on and so forth, if that's even the right terminology. And he kind of suggested that Dubois was having some type of spectrum-related episode on fight week, and that's the real reason he pulled out. I've obviously got no idea whether or not that's true, but I guess it's possible. But the point I want to drive home is, I certainly do not believe that Dubois is afraid of Joseph Parker in and of himself. Because again, why would he choose to fight him in the first place if he was that scared of him? And then we move on to Oleksandr Usyk. People are saying, Usyk shouldn't be fighting Dubois, he should be fighting Parker instead. Well, Joseph Parker is effectively the mandatory for Oleksandr Usyk, and that mandatory has been called. Last week, they were given 30 days to negotiate, and if they can't come to an agreement within that allotted period, then they'll go to a purse bid. Whoever wins the bid gets to put on the fight within whatever it will be, 90 days maybe, or a little bit longer than that. If Usyk pulls out of the bid or doesn't fight Joseph Parker within the allotted time, he gets stripped. And it would seem that Usyk is more keen on fighting Dubois than fighting Parker. Is that a duck? As far as I'm concerned, hell no. Why? Because Oleksandr Usyk was willing to fight the winner of Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker. He didn't know who the winner was going to be. He didn't know that Daniel Dubois was going to pull out. You tell me what there is in Oleksandr Usyk's track record. Just look at all the people he's fought that would suggest he would duck Joseph Parker. This guy's never ducked anyone. He said, whenever it was, a month or so ago, that he's basically got one foot out the door and plans to retire after 2 more fights. He's 38 years of age. I think he should retire right now and shouldn't even go ahead with the Dubois fight, personally. He's an old man, folks. But he apparently wants to fight twice more. Therefore, he can't fight everybody. If he'd picked Parker, Dubois would have complained. He's gone and picked Dubois. Now the Parker fans are complaining. He can't fight everybody. He's too old. He's already got, as I say, 1 foot out the door, iron retirement. So he has to prioritize. Why is he choosing to go with Dubois rather than go with Joseph Parker next? Firstly, it would be undisputed again. Another bit of history for Oleksandr Usyk. Secondly, he's got history with Daniel Dubois. There are still people, and you give it a couple hours after this video's been uploaded, and you're going to see a couple of these people in the comment section. There are still people claiming that Usyk's win over Dubois was illegitimate, that the low blow somehow wasn't a low blow. Oleksandr Usyk wants to clear that up. That's the type of fighter he is. He wants to leave no stone unturned. Now, of course, I wouldn't have any issue with him fighting Joseph Parker next. Parker is, as I say, his mandatory. He has to fight him or get stripped of his belt. But historically, legacy-wise, I can see why he would rather fight Dubois next rather than Joseph Parker. Even if on a personal level, I'd rather see the Parker fight. I can't hate on Usyk's reasoning for fighting Dubois instead. It's not like he's fighting a bum instead of fighting Joseph Parker. It's a unification. Normally, unifications trump mandatories. In this instance, the WBO might put their foot down because we've already had Undisputed last year. So, folks, again, I've got enough respect for Joseph Parker. He's on a great run. He deserves his title shot. But in my view, neither of these guys are ducking him. It just so happens that there's more incentive for them to fight each other rather than either one of them to fight Joseph Parker. With Dubois, for example, there are time constraints here. Yeah, he could reschedule the Joseph Parker fight rather than fighting Usyk next. But again, Usyk has already said that he's not going to be around forever, that he plans on retiring after 2 more fights. And if Dubois wants an opportunity at Undisputed, he's going to have to fight Usyk sooner rather than later, because Usyk could either get stripped, or if he'd fought Parker, he could potentially have lost the WBO belt against Parker in the ring, or the belts could have otherwise been fractured. So rather than miss out on the opportunity due to boxing's ever-changing landscape with the sanctioning bodies, the 4 belts, Dubois said to himself, you know what, let's just go straight into the Usyk rematch rather than rescheduling the Parker fight. It makes perfect sense to me. After the run that Dubois has been on since the first Usyk fight, rescheduling the Parker fight would really be superfluous. Dubois hasn't been fighting bums. And again, the WBO have ordered Parker's shot, so he's going to get his shot, whether it's against Dubois, Usyk, or somebody else for the vacant belt, or perhaps he gets elevated to full champion without having to fight either one of those guys. He's going to get his shot. It's been ordered. So I'm not sure why people are so anxious. This is not like when Dylan White was WBC mandatory for all those years and couldn't get his shot because the WBC wouldn't order it. No, the WBO have ordered it. And incidentally, I should just clarify something. I said in the live stream yesterday that I wouldn't blame Joseph Parker for fighting Anthony Joshua, giving AJ the opportunity to fight him for the interim WBO heavyweight title, because Parker's done more than enough to earn that position. As far as I'm concerned, Parker's under no moral obligation to keep risking his position, again, taking superfluous fights. But if Parker were to get elevated to full WBO champion, then I would blame him for taking on Anthony Joshua. I don't believe in world champions taking on people who are coming off losses, especially devastating one-sided knockout losses. Anthony Joshua would not be a mandatory for Parker in that scenario. Joshua is ranked number 7 with the WBO. So if Parker was elevated to full WBO heavyweight champion, AJ would be a voluntary defense for him, a fighter who he's picking to fight. And I hold world champions to a higher standard than that. Rather than defending his full WBO world title if he were to be granted that status against AJ, who's coming off a devastating knockout defeat to Daniel Dubois, he should instead be fighting somebody above him in the rankings who's coming off wins, such as the likes of Lawrence Okoli, Fabio Wardley, Moses Itama, even Justice Hooney. So I did just want to clarify that. No issue with Parker fighting AJ if it's just the interim, which is basically a glorified mandatory. But if he gets elevated to full champion, taking on AJ, that's a no-no. When you're a champion, more is expected of you. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the whole notion that Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois are ducking Joseph Parker. I think it's far-fetched personally. But what say you? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.